Yeah, yes, it was a long shot. 11 weeks ago, wasn't it? Just talked to the boys about how immensely proud I am of them, but also in that room's a lot of support staff, all our coaches, all our quite a few medical staff and volunteers and high performers, so everyone who just supports the play. So, I mean, sometimes it's difficult to remain consistent when you're not getting the wins that you feel like they're available. And I mean, even though we were dropping some games, the boys were still applying themselves, and just to see the gradual improvement of the team. But definitely, if you go through each individual to see them progress, and some of them are in the infancy of their careers, it's so exciting and encouraging for not only the players who are going through that, but all of us, our supporters, to see what they've been able to do. And it's a brand new ball game now. I always, we talk about creating the opportunity, and the season it's two stages. It's the season proper, and then it's a whole new ball game once the finals come, and we're in there, and who knows what can happen.
Did you speak about finals during the week, or did you know that the boys knew that it was a big game in Lane?
Oh, it's in the back of everyone's mind, the fact that that's the carrot, and I think in a sense it was. You'd like to think we'd manage it anyway, even if Hawthorn didn't beat West Coast, and we know that all we have to do is just win the game. But knowing that our destiny, no matter what, was set in stone if we won or lost, then that wasn't a bad thing going into today. But no, essentially today was more about what our players have been able to produce, and how much. How important this game was in the scheme of that, those proceedings, and the fact that we needed to frank whatever we'd been doing, and it'd just be a shame if we couldn't, and the finals ultimately would be the bonus. But I was trying to steer away from talking too much about the fact that we might be in the 8 at the end of it all.
And we're pleased were you with that start today, 40-1.
Takes the edge off a bit, no doubt. But as we saw, different stages of the game, they strung a handful of goals together here and there, and we were respectful of their threats up forward. Obviously, Walker was a constant one of those throughout the course of the game. So we were always on edge, and probably until the last 5 or 6 minutes, when you probably know that you've got the game sewed up.
How do you go about resetting for what you described as a different ball game and keeping the momentum going?
Yeah, I don't see it as a big challenge for the reset. What we've got in our favour is the fact that we played most of the teams in the 8 in the back end of the year, and we've got a good idea of our capabilities on any certain day against quite a few of them. And I think we're going to be hard to beat.
Do you thrive on the fact that you were in 7th spot back in 2016, or is it absolutely irrelevant as it has to be asked?
Well, I think, whether it's the modern day with equalisation, with the draft, whether or not it just means that clubs are capable, ultimately you've got to win 4 in a row. We know that, I won't state in the obvious, but it's probably not as big a leap. I think a few years ago, we won 15 games and finished 7th. We've only won 12, so we haven't been one of the buzz sides this year. We've been one making up the numbers who all of a sudden now is in the mix. So, but if you extrapolate the back end of the year over another 11 rounds, what could we produce if the season was, we just played the first 11? It's an interesting question to ask because we are pretty healthy. So we've got 2 weeks to freshen up. I imagine there won't be much controversy about that this time around because everyone gets it, as we said last time. We'll go in, obviously, against a very different GWS side. You'd think that they'd have a number of different personnel when we front up in Sydney against them.
How much do you take out of the fact you were able to beat GWS last week or 10 guys?
Probably not much. Going into the next game, things will change and they'll have a different mindset, you'd think, and they'll definitely have probably half a dozen or so different players. We won't. We'll be pretty constant, I think. I don't think. Hopefully everyone gets through the next couple of weeks, but you'd imagine that they'd come with some venom. So it's a final, and we've got to produce an antidote and an even more deadly venom coming out of our quarters.
You must be thrilled with the resilience of your group because you have lost some soldiers along the way this year.
Yeah, we haven't. We haven't lost. I mean, Caleb, Libber and Wally are probably the obvious ones who've played a bit of senior footy and week to week have made us a strong 22. But other than that, I think we've had 9 players play all 23 games. That's a lot for us. Yeah, the other years gone by, we've probably been knocked around a bit more. So that's probably helped us. Definitely in the back end of the year, we haven't had too many lads go down with injury. Caleb's probably the obvious one who's played that role. As I keep saying, I reckon he was probably an All-Australian form up the halfway mark. So I appreciate there's other clubs who have definitely had significant injuries, and we haven't had to deal with as much of that.
You mentioned Libber and Wallace. They were listed on the injury list this week, so it was indefinite. Are they any chance of featuring in September?
Wally's year's over. Libber's a possibility if we can go deep. I think we'll have Caleb available if we can keep winning. But Wally won't play footy again this year.
How big a factor is Bailey goalkeeping being in the last month?
Yeah, it's been a really important factor, and he's. I suppose the promise of what he was going to become a couple of years ago was circumvented through some of the injuries he's had. He's had some reasonably serious foot injuries. So everyone's held on to that promise and have known that he's capable. But yeah, he's been a pretty important cog in that forward line, and he can play pretty well on the wing too. But he's just been he's helped others. So yeah, him, all those sort of 4 medium smalls, definitely Lloydie and Toby McLean and obviously Pat and Bailey Smith are up there a bit, and Tory was going pretty well until we lost him. So there's I suppose another one. And the big fellas probably didn't hit the scoreboard as much today, but they've been really important for us, Norts and Shaq. So we go through the lines and the individuals again. I did it last week, but we're just gelling well together as a 22 in all the phases, and it's now we've got to do it in probably when it matters even more.
How realistic a chance did you actually think you were of making finals, say around the bye? Did you give it any thought?
I just said to mates, him and I, you're always under pressure internally and externally as a coach when you can beat a side like, say, Richmond, and then you can drop a game against a side that's a bit further down the ladder. And people think, well, why can't you? Is there something wrong somewhere that needs to be questioned? We've been consistent, as I said, in our attitude and our behaviours around things. And Mapes and I sort of joked. We didn't really joke because him and I really believe it, that we just win, 8 of the last 11 and we'll play finals and everything will be sorted out. So we just had a bit of a chuckle about how there's a bit of Nostradamus in us. Look, you don't really ever see it coming. It doesn't matter how much you believe in the group, and it's just a monumental achievement, I think, just to make it. So, as I said, now we put that behind us, and we've got a great opportunity in front of us.
How'd you find the
Ballarat experience today?
We love the Ballarat experience. Yeah, we've really enjoyed coming and staying in Ballarat. We stayed the night before and soak it up a little bit and prepare so we beat the traffic. And we've really enjoyed it, and our record's getting better. And the ground's always in great condition. It's probably a bit of a rare day here too, when it wasn't as windy as it usually is, even though it was a little bit windy. Boys enjoying things. Yeah. We love coming up here through Ballarat and the regions. Actually stopped off at Dalesford on the way and visited great friends of ours, Roy Pearce and Jan Pearce. Roy's been battling cancer for a long time, and I had a cup of tea with them both on the way through. So, and he's in good spirits, and he'd be sitting at home pretty chuffed that we've been able to win and make the finals. And so there's a lot of people who are doing it a bit harder, but some of the towns and around this regional centre they're just beautiful towns, and Ballarat's one of them. Thanks everyone.